Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So, been a little bit since the last news video just because there's a lot of content to cover. So this is going to be a recap of maybe some slightly older news, but there's some stuff in here that's a little bit more up to date as well. So we'll start off with this because it is a new content release, and that is Avatar: The Last Airbender, My Cabbages. The picture book is out tomorrow, August 27th. It's available in hardcover, $18.99. It's 40 pages. It is a picture book, but this one is notable because it is going to have new content about the Cabbage Merchant, including, like, we get his name here, we get to see his family, and by the looks of it, we're going to get a lot of the transition between his, like, appearances in the show about, like, why does he go from here to here? Why does he end up in this location? And we'll see just how interesting it's going to be. I think it actually is a somewhat notable release. It's not one to just maybe dismiss, put on the back burner like some of the I Am books, perhaps. This one has the art, but also the unique aspect of it's going to be kind of significant content for this character, the Cabbage Merchant. So, just be aware of that. I will attempt to get a review out for this at some point this week. I don't think I'll be able to get the book tomorrow. I think my comic book store might be getting it in on Wednesday, so Wednesday might be an option for this. Otherwise, I might just have to rely on ordering it online, and so it might be like next week by the time I get to it. Either way, I'll cover this book to some degree on the channel. Moving on, we'll go to Avatar Legends Realms Collide information. So they're obviously doing their kind of pre-registration stuff of, like, the more people who pre-registered, the more rewards people will have when the game global launches, basically. And as of just 1 week ago, we're past the first landmark of over 300,000 people have done it. And of course, the idea is the more people who do pre-register, the more rewards you get, especially like the golden scrolls. They're kind of significant. And some of this stuff. I think overall, based on what I know about the game, even if you got all these rewards, it's I say pretty insignificant overall. I guess you technically are given Sokka. I believe that's how that works by the end. But you know, that's that. Not super rewarding, but it's something, I suppose. But you know, the big thing with this game is still no release date. And you'll note that the Apple preview, store preview has changed. It now says November 6th. It used to say like August, the end of August. So this is just an estimated date. It is not an official release date. They are still going with the idea they don't have a release date. The only thing they seem to be promising is just that it will release at some point this year. But it won't, like, go into next year. I'm not sure what the problem is. I think they just seem to have some bugs that are taking a long time to work out, and they obviously want to release the game in a situation where there are very minimal bugs or no bugs at all, and that's why stuff has ultimately been going very, very slow. Obviously, I don't think they wanted it to take this long. I don't think they maybe expected that they'd be going into like month 6 of still being in the sort of like pre-release marketing. It's pretty frustrating because ultimately, there's very little to talk about with this game until most of us get to play it. And the fact that people from certain regions are already playing it, and then just because you're from a different region, you can't play it, it is an awkward situation. And, you know, we're just waiting to see what actually happens here. So hopefully they get going and can finally settle on what exactly is happening here, because I think a lot of people just need to see what this game is and play it for themselves. But that's that. Some other video game news is just that Nickelodeon AllStar Brawl 2 Iroh is now available to play as a character. So this is obviously the fighting game using Nickelodeon characters. There's a handful of Avatar characters included here, and now Iroh has joined them as well. If you look up the videos kind of covering his like moveset, it's actually really nicely done. He's got a lot of cool moves. And I think they did a really good job of making his moveset very, very unique. So Iroh in AllStar Brawl 2. If you play the game, he is part of the DLC. I do think it's a paid DLC as far as I'm aware. It's not just a free DLC, but I might be wrong on that. I don't really know. But that's just there if you do maybe play this game to some degree or know about it. And we'll end then with some Netflix Avatar news. So for the most part, there's nothing hugely significant. It's just that there is some kind of confirmation about other characters that they are casting. We have confirmation of, I suppose, some names of new characters that are going to be in the show. So a lot of this stuff is just like returning characters, of course. We know Toph is going to have to be cast. That's the big one. Ursa is, of course, another huge character that they need to get the casting right for overall. And the idea is that we know, like, Zuko alone, the backstory there is going to be a big episode. It's going to give a lot of those characters a big chance to shine. Probably going to be one of the standout episodes if they get it right. Long Feng on the villain side of things is going to have to, they're going to have to get someone good for him, along with, like, King Kwei and so on. But the news, I suppose, is these new characters here. General Song, General Tran, and Bonesaw. So starting with Bonesaw, probably the most easy one to figure out. Not sure why the article writer didn't kind of get this idea. I'm guessing this is a Earth Rumble character. Definitely fits the kind of wrestling naming scheme overall. This is not the name of a character from the episode, so they're introducing, I guess, a new Earth Rumble character. Maybe it's to replace one of the other characters. Maybe the wrestling references are maybe a little bit too on the nose. This might be a new one. Who knows? But it maybe is a good sign that they're for sure doing Earth Rumble, because we don't know what way exactly they're going to do all the episodes, but we realistically suspect the introduction of Toph is going to be another main event for season 2. There's no way they can avoid doing certain aspects of her arc. As for the two generals, I think it's very difficult to get any sense for really what, like, we're meant to take from this. Is that, like, okay, we don't know characters by these names, so are they just people on the Fire Nation and or Earth Kingdom side of things? Like, are they both Earth Kingdom? Are they both Fire Nation and so on? I've seen some people speculate that, like, are they Council of 5 members? Based on what we know from canon, that is not the case, because we know the name of all the Council of 5 now, thanks to the RPG. So we have General Hao, General Sung, there's Yuan, there's Q, and Duanmu. So they've all been named. Now, admittedly, I think 3 out of those 5 characters we know basically nothing about. So they do have some basically blank slate characters. I'm guessing they kind of come up elsewhere. We don't even know if they'll do the Council of 5 here. Maybe they'll just kind of get rid of that kind of concept because it's not super well explored, and just have General Song be a general that we see somewhere. Maybe General Tran is just, like they say here, a Lieutenant Dang style character, just to have another Fire Nation kind of high up character. Because there's always going to be some extras like that you do need to have. But that then brings us into this. So this is what we're building up to in terms of the next big news update for Netflix Avatar, and that is a Geeked Week, which is coming up on September 16th. So you can see the countdown here, 21 days. And you'll note there in the video trailer, the thumbnail that they use for it includes Aang front and center. And Avatar has been very central to a certain degree as part of their marketing for this. Yet the point in, like, where we're at with Netflix Avatar Season 2, like, this event is going to hit before they've properly started production on filming production on Season 2. So what news are they actually going to have? Like, they've already announced, that the show is confirmed for Book 2 and 3. The idea, realistically, is that the only thing they have to announce probably is the casting for some of the key characters. Toph is obviously going to be your main event one. Everyone is eager to see who they have chosen to be Toph. And if they get that right, great. If they get it wrong, that's a bit of a problem. That said, even when they announce it, because I'm assuming we're not going to see the character in costume, really, it's going to maybe be hard to judge unless we have people who are super familiar with the actress that they choose. Same goes for, like, Ursa and Long Feng, though I think they have a little bit more leeway with these characters. Toph is the one that I think there's much more pressure on them for. I'm assuming we might maybe see stuff like this where like they announce extra characters as well, just to highlight like, hey, here's this other stuff. But then you also get across the idea that like, hey, there's going to be like other Earth Rumble characters. Like, are we getting the Boulder? Are we getting the Hippo? Master Yu, Xin Fu. Those are characters that we sort of need to build up to the big metal bending moment, which I'm assuming they are going to have to do. So you need those characters as well. So there's quite a few casting decisions that they need to make here. I think right now, some of the information about One Piece Season 2, Netflix One Piece Season 2, its casting is happening right now. And I'm assuming we're getting into the range where we're going to get that for Netflix Avatar, because these two shows are just kind of only slightly offset to a certain degree. So that's what's happening there. But yeah, that's happening in basically 3 weeks exactly. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that's happening. I'm assuming if there's Avatar news, it'll be as part of the first like big major event. But we'll see. September 19th maybe is when they have the in-person live event. But we'll see what the idea is. There's going to be a lot of Netflix news during this event. So that's pretty much everything. Other than Geeked Week coming up in a few weeks, we're then probably building up to pretty much the month after this. October is when New York Comic Con is, and there'd be an expectation for news, at least in publishing for Avatar. Maybe not Avatar Studios, but we'll see what happens. Because the My Cabbages is the last proper content release of the year. Otherwise, it is stuff like, you know, finally waiting for the official release of this game, and some final, like, smaller pieces of merchandise, that sort of thing. So, you know, we're getting towards just, you know, we're waiting to see what's going to happen next year is really, like, the big thing at this point, really, in the fandom. But there's some announcements that are going to happen. So, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on all of this stuff. My Cabbages, Avatar Legends Realms Collide, Iroh in AllStar Brawl 2, and some of the early kind of teaser information we're getting about Netflix Avatar Season 2 leading into Geeked Week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.